Hi everyone, this is Nirali Shah and I'm live, and we're going to be doing this amazing book read on the chapter Who Do You Think You Are? But before I start, I would like to make few announcements, and this month is going to be extremely busy and eventful with so many things. So I just launched Philosopher's Stone Book Club last Sunday, and every Sunday we're going to be meeting for this amazing book called Many Lives, Many Masters, and it's written by Brian L. Weiss, and it talks about some world that is totally unknown to us. Possibly, if some of you who might be watching this right now or who might watch it later might have read this book before, but then the kind of content that we're exploring together, that is way beyond just read. So if you like to know a little more, and the topic of who do we think we are, and what if we are way more than we thought that we are, then this book club is a kind of a platform that helps you explore a lot of things about you that you would never have known. And somewhere we're trying to let you know that you are a gift to this world. That's what I learned a little while ago, and that's the same message, the same learning, the same experience that I'm trying to share with all of you. I'm going to begin with a book read because I'm here actually for the book read. So the book is The New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, Creating a Better Life. And last chapter we read was Pain Bodies of Children, and somewhere we learned how to help child not create more of pain bodies, how to handle if child is behaving with acting up or throwing tantrums or sulking, how to remain stable, and with all of that, how to be a conscious parent so that we are not adding more in the collective pain bodies, at the same time adding more pain in the child's pain body. So it was a beautiful chapter, and it was divided into two video lives. So if you feel you want to refer to it again, please look down. Some of the below videos will have it. And today we are reading Who Do You Think You Are? So what do you think you are? Who are you? Let's read there. Your sense of who you are determines what you perceive as your need and what matters to you in life. Whatever matters to you will have the power to upset and disturb you. Wow! So how many things in the world upsets us and disturbs us? You can use this as a criterion to find out how deeply you know yourself. What matters to you is not necessarily what you say or believe, but what your actions and reactions reveal as important and serious to you. So you may want to ask yourself a question. What are the things that upset and disturb me? Are there any things that upset and disturb you? If small things have the power to disturb you, then who you think you are is exactly that small. That will be your unconscious belief. What are the small things? What are the small things? Think about it right now. Quick. Ultimately, all things are small things because all things are transient. You might say, I know I am an immortal spirit, or I am tired of this mad world and peace is all I want. Until the phone rings and bad news. The stock market has collapsed. The deal may fall through. The car has been stolen. Your mother-in-law has arrived. The trip is cancelled. The contract has been broken. Your partner has left you and they demand more money. They say it's your fault. Suddenly there is a surge of anger, anxiety. A harshness comes into your voice. I can't take this anymore. You accuse and blame, attack, defend, or justify yourself, and it's all happening on autopilot. Something is obviously much more important to you now than the inner peace that a moment ago you said was all you wanted. And you are not an immortal spirit anymore either. The deal, the money, the contract, the loss or threat of loss are more important. To whom? Eckhart Tolle asks. The immortal spirit that you said you are. No, to me, the small me that seeks security or fulfillment in things that are transient and gets anxious or angry because it fails to find it. In the small objects, small things that disturbs us, this is the place we depend upon for security, for fulfillment, and when we don't get it is where we begin to feel unfulfilled, unsecured, and that is where we begin to react. That is where the harshness comes in. That is where the anxiety and anger comes in. It could be for yourself, it could be for somebody else, but this is what happens because we fail to find it in things we believe that it existed there. If peace is really what you want, then you will choose peace. If peace mattered to you more than anything else, if you truly knew yourself to be spirit rather than little me, you would remain non-reactive and absolutely alert, aware when confronted with challenging people or situations. You would immediately accept the situation and thus become one with it rather than separate yourself from it. Then out of your alertness would come a response, not a reaction, but a response. Who you are, consciousness, not who you think you are, a small me, which is the ego me, would be responding. It would be powerful and effective and would make no person or situation into an enemy. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. And how I wish we all can learn to live like this, where nobody is our enemy. Everybody is just our own self. The world always makes sure that you cannot fool yourself long about how you really think you are by showing you what truly matters to you. How you react to people and situations, especially when challenges arise, is the best indicator of how deeply you know yourself. The more limited, the more narrowly egoic the view of yourself, the more you will see and focus on and react to the egoic limitations. Sometimes we think ego is, showing off, or ego is, reacting rudely, or ego is, not caring about others, or, speaking harsh to people, or ego is, ignoring other because somebody thinks somebody is great. No, ego has so many dimensions, lesser than the dimensions of consciousness, but ego has so many dimensions. And when here Eckhart Tolle is talking about ego is this limitation of us. Now we'll see further what does it really mean when he says ego and unconsciousness and limitations and the small you. So would you like to choose small you, or would you choose that expanded you? That is a question. And you get to choose things based on what you chose at this moment. Consciousness and expansion, or smallness and limitations. Their faults, or what you perceive as their faults, become to you their identity. This means you will see only the ego in them, and thus strengthen the ego in yourself. Instead of looking through the ego in others, you're looking at the ego who's looking at the ego. Ow! ego, 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 the ego in you. So basically what Eckhart Tolle is saying that is that, when we start looking at other people as it's their fault, then you are looking at them with your perceived identity that it is their fault. This means we are looking at their small self. That means we are strengthening not only their ego, we are also strengthening our own ego, because we are looking from the eyes of the ego. The more we look at the world from the eyes of the ego, the more ego we are strengthening, and the more ego we are strengthening, the bigger pain body gets, and the bigger pain body gets, the collective pain body expands. Very unconscious people experience their own ego through its reflection in others. When you realize that what you react to in others is also in you. Now this is so beautiful, and someone once told me that everybody around you is a mirror of you. So whatever is happening in the outside world, XYZ person reacting or responding to you, whether it's a good or a bad or an ugly way, is basically mirroring what you are inside. And sometimes only in you. So that person does not even have that thing, doesn't even want to do that with you. It's actually happening by that person because it exists in you. You begin to become aware of your own ego, and at that stage you may also realize that you were doing to others what you thought others were doing to you. Somewhere we have done certain things to others and we believe, why other people are doing this to me? Somewhere we have this habit of saying that karma comes back to us. It's not exactly, bringing back the karma, but somewhere, as I said, the people around us are the reflection of, what we have within, what belief system that we are operating from at that moment, what traumas we are operating from at the moment, what experiences we are operating from at that moment, that is making us behave in a certain way, and that is making other person behave in a certain way. You cease seeing yourself as a victim, and when all of this is happening, and when we start looking at the fault of other people or start blaming at the situation, somewhere we are making ourselves victim. And is victim small, or is victim powerful or expanded or immortal self? You are not ego, says Eckhart Tolle. So when you become aware of the ego in you, it doesn't mean that you know who you are. It means you know who you are not. But it is through knowing you are not that the greatest obstacle to truly knowing yourself is removed. Nobody can tell you who you are. It would just be an other concept, so it would not change you. Who you are requires no belief. In fact, every belief in an obstacle. It does not even require your realization, since you already are who you are. But without realization, you are who you are does not shine forth into the world. It remains in the unmanifested, which is more like you are than an apparently poor person who does not know he has a bank account with $100 million in it, and so his wealth remains an unexpressed potential. I'll try and explain what this means in the way I understood. Is that what Eckhart Tolle is trying to say is that, when we start blaming others and we start operating as small in the way we think that, this is what I am and this is what the other person is, limit ourselves and limit them. And somewhere I think I've used this word again, the word that, I also keep learning on different various levels is a judgment. We judge us and we judge others. And with all of that, this judgment itself becomes an ego. And when we operate from this point, what is it that we are losing out? What is it that we are losing out? We are losing out our truest expanded potential, more possibilities. And the way I see it, the power that lies in our being. Because we looked at ourselves from that smallness, wherein we are this big. And how I wish I can show you how big we are, and how amazing it feels every time you get to that expanded self. And then suddenly, when small things become important to us, is where we begin to respond to it from that small limited mind and point of view and belief system and judgment, and we react to it, is where we are actually missing out living in that expanded self. And the entire idea of we being here on the earth is to live and expand our true being on this earth, on this planet, and living with that joy. I wish whatever I spoke, for those who can get it, and if not, maybe in few months or few years, it's time for people to awaken, and that's the reason why we're reading this book. So do join us on 21st, and tomorrow I'm going to be reading this another chapter which is very interesting, which is called abundance. And this is the chapter that this word it somewhere connects to wealth and money and all those things. And what is the deeper meaning to abundance is what we're going to understand here. I will learn it with all of you while I read with all of you. Take care. See you tomorrow again. Bye bye.